wrote a report about the demonstrations that took place in Armenia this year. What were your conclusions?
Our report is just an assessment of what was happening from human rights perspective. So we clearly see that there were violations and the police used the force excessively towards the peaceful protesters, unfortunately, suffered from multiple injuries. We think that this reaction of the police was not really justified and was exaggerated. The other thing which we noted is that there were multiple violations of international standards and Armenian legislation during the detention of the people. They were taken into detention facilities for 10 times longer period than it's allowed by the legislation. They were deprived from the medical assistance. They were often deprived from food or even water, and they were many of them were quite severely beaten on the way to detention facilities. So, speaking about all this number of problems, we think that several things should be made, and it's very important now to follow on national investigations of the behavior of police and their reaction on the days when violence occurred, basically especially on July 29th and July 20th. Currently, the investigative service of Republic of Armenia is holding the investigation, but the results haven't been made public yet, and we are thinking that the most important thing is to monitor closely this process. Unfortunately, the previous events in Armenia in 2015 and 2009 don't give grounds, or at least give us the grounds to raise the concern that usually the investigation of police wrongdoings hasn't been done thoroughly, and the perpetrators haven't been really punished for their wrongdoings. So now we think it's important to monitor this, and we think that international attention to the situation in Armenia is very much needed.
What would you like to see the EU in particular do in relation to what you found and what you would like to see happen in the future? We've had repeat reports from the Council of Europe's team on the prevention of torture. What can be done? What more can the EU do to prevent this type of activity?
I think that now European Union, in particular the European External Action Service, can take the effort, or the European Representative on Human Rights can go in Yerevan and conduct the monitoring missions. I think that the more European Union articulates real attention to the process, the better. I think that the Armenian government is quite sensitive to the position of European Union, and if they see clearly that their actions are monitored closely, then I think it will be very helpful. Also, really, we have a number of organizations which, according to their mandates, should be monitoring the torture, should be monitoring the freedom of assembly. First of all, of course, I mean the Council of Europe, and there is a clear reason for ad hoc monitoring mission to be happening in Yerevan. I think that even just physical presence, statements, attention to detention facilities, to the actions of police will be enough at this stage.
We have a new Prime Minister, I believe, as of today. Is this progress?
Forgive me for the joke, but I was thinking he's actually one of the board members of Gazprom, Russia. And it was revealed just a few days ago that Armenian government, or like Armenia, still owes a lot of money to Gazprom. And I was joking that we probably gave our government as a payment, as a repayment for the debt that we have, because it's not clear. It's just, in my opinion, it's again like a clear message of Russian influence on Armenia. It's also a clear message on someone from outside that will be controlling the situation. But in my view, it is also connected with them trying to change the image before the 2017 parliamentary elections.
You're standing beside a cartoon here. Could you tell us something about that image?
The cartoon here represents an election process in actually the region where I live, where the population, the de facto population residence is less than the voters list. So as it turns out, 105% of the population is voters, and which is ridiculous, and it's connected with, of course, immigration, we understand, but there's also a lot of dead people in the list. So this cartoon here says, yikes, the dead have come to vote again.